Hi, our names are Rutledge and Wesley, and we are 6th graders from Mason Preparatory School. We are about to introduce you to a video about plastic pollution. All of the people on this list, including us, have done something to help solve plastic pollution in Charleston.
As a class, we have found that the most common types of plastic pollution in Charleston are plastic straws, cigarette butts, styrofoam takeout containers, plastic shopping bags, and plastic water bottles. For this service learning project, each student chose a type of plastic pollution to target for their project. Next, we proceeded to create our project, which could have ranged from door hangers to flyers. Then, we hung our door hangers, completed our trash pickup, or whatever each person chose.
It takes about 500 to 1,000 years for plastic to degrade.
About 8 million metric tons of plastic bottles are deposited to the ocean per year.
It takes 17 million barrels of oil to produce plastic bottles yearly in the U.S. This could fuel 1 million cars for a year.
Our solution was to prevent single-use plastic bottled water used at Mason Prep School functions.
We wrote a letter to the head of the Mason Prep PTO and our principal and assistant principal requesting for this policy to be real. We had a meeting with them to request this and give them our letter.
We are working to make a policy for no one at Mason Prep functions will be provided single-use plastic bottled water.
The average American office worker uses about 500 disposable plastic cups every year.
50% of plastic cups are only used once, and only 6% actually end up being recycled.
Bring a reusable water bottle to work and stop this problem.
We hung a poster and flyers at the Charleston Area Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Now the people at the Charleston Area Convention and Visitors Bureau will bring a reusable water bottle to work every day.
1 million plastic bottles are bought around the world every minute, and the number is projected to rise 20% by 2021.
98% of ocean's plastic pollution comes from land.
One solution is to become BYOWB, meaning at any occasion, bring your own water bottle, not single-use plastic water bottles.
Our action plan is to tell people to stop using single-use plastic water bottles and start using reusable water bottles.
When people would take this into consideration and start using reusable water bottles, that will help our environment.
As a result of our project this year, our school has formed a committee which will work to make Mason Prep single-use water bottle free. Already, we have eliminated single-use water bottles at field days.
"500 billion plastic bags are used worldwide each year. Plastic is made of oil, which is dangerous to most life on Earth. Plastic bags will kill about 100 million marine animals each year due to entanglement and ingestion. 3,860 plastic bags were found in the Charleston area from 2015 to 2017. This data was obtained from the South Carolina Aquarium Litter Free Journal. What makes this even worse is that only 9.5% of all plastic pollution is recycled. Having knowledge of the following inspired me to discourage the use of these bags. The way that I committed to this involved going to the aquarium with a poster, brochure, and anti-plastic bag petition. For this project, I displayed reusable shopping bags. In addition, I instructed visitors to keep them in the glove box to be readily available when needed. With all this work, I obtained 102 signatures of individuals agreeing not to use plastic bags for a month and to use reusable bags instead.
I put up posters in restaurants on Sullivan's Island to warn people about the harmful effects of single-use plastic bags.
Our group, Max, Benjamin, and I, went to the South Carolina Aquarium to learn about the effects that plastic bags have on sea turtles.
We saw a sea turtle named Clumpy who had a piece of plastic wrapped around her flipper, and the plastic eventually cut off the circulation, causing the flipper to fall off.
We decided to write a letter to the editor of the Post and Courier to raise awareness of the dangers of single-use plastic bags.
The letter ended up getting published on Wednesday, January 31st, 2018, to raise awareness of the dangers of single-use plastic bags.
In our letter, we encouraged people to carry reusable bags with them to the store.
Our letter was so effective in raising awareness about the dangers of single-use plastic bags that someone from North Carolina wrote a letter to our science teacher praising us in our letter.
Fiona and I chose to research cigarette butt littering because it's a major problem in Charleston. The major solutions are for smokers not to throw cigarettes on the ground in the first place. Put them into an an approved cigarette receptacle, participate in beat sweeps or cleanups. Some people do not know that cigarette butts contain plastic instead of just paper and tobacco.
We made flyers in order to show people about the waste of cigarette butt littering and how it can affect the environment. I went to the Sham Creek boat landing, and my friend Sanaya went to Wapoo Creek boat landing to hang our flyers. Hopefully, people will respond to us and make the community a better place to look at and live.
I researched plastic cigarette butts. The major solutions to solving this problem is throwing your cigarette in a approved cigarette receptacle. After you're done with it, also we could pick up cigarettes that we might find on the ground, then throw them in an approved cigarette receptacle. I hung door hangers to raise awareness around my neighborhood, Riverland Terrace. Also talked to some people that came out of their homes when I was seeing the door hangers about plastic cigarette butt pollution and how it's bad for the environment. I think I have helped the people of Riverland Terrace become more aware of the problem, and I think they will listen to my advice in order to make the problem less of a threat.
Americans use 500 million straws a day.
All those straws would wrap around Earth 912.5 times each year.
McDonald's uses 60 million straws daily worldwide. Each McDonald's uses approximately 1,626 straws each day.
This is a problem because plastic straws are made from oil, and oil is toxic. It releases toxins when it breaks down.
Some solutions to this problem are do not use plastic straws, buy metal or paper straws instead, and tell other people do not use plastic straws.
We made flyers about the problem with plastic straws and what you can do to help. We built a website about the problem with plastic straws and the solutions to keep them out of our environment, and we hung flyers up in multiple restaurants.
Our plastic pollution project was on straws. We were trying to get people to use straws less or not use them at all.
Eventually, it wasn't a project to us. This was something we wanted to do.
I think we put up flyers in about 8 restaurants. 4 of those restaurants weren't straw-free.
Those flyers hopefully convinced the restaurants and the people who went in those restaurants to be straw-free.
We even got a restaurant in Nashville to go completely straw-free, and one restaurant in Charleston to use biodegradable straws.
I hope that this project made a difference in how many straws are used here in South Carolina.
When an animal dies inside of an abandoned crab trap, the crab trap starts to ghost fish. Ghost fishing is when an animal dies in an abandoned crab trap and lures other animals which get stuck in the trap and die, repeating the process again.
Some major solutions to stopping abandoned crab traps from ghost fishing are to check your crab traps every 24 hours and to tie your crab trap knots tighter. To warn people about abandoned crab traps, Clyde Griffin and I made flyers and handed them out to 13 different places, including tackle shops, marinas, boat landings, restaurants, and piers. We also spent a day at DNR to turn abandoned crab traps into oysteries by zip tying holes shut in abandoned crab traps and covering them in concrete so they become oyster substrate.
Did you know that plastic pollutes the air and water which can harm humans and animals? People are exposed to chemicals from the plastic take-home containers. Chemicals such as bisphenol come from hard plastic containers and may cause cancer.
Some solutions to prevent these things are to not order too much food at a restaurant so you don't have to use plastic take-home containers. You can bring your own non-plastic takeout container with you when you go out to eat. Also, when you go to your local restaurants, ask if you can get an easily compostable take-home container.
We made posters and hung them up in 2 different yobos in Charleston. That helps raise awareness to the problems with plastic take-home containers.
A lot of people have seen our posters and that information got stuck in their heads. People will hopefully try to make a change.
If you've been paying attention to the sides of roads lately, you would have noticed that there are piles of trash just laying around.
And not many people are willing to pick it up.
Charleston has changed tremendously since plastic was created.
We have learned so much about plastic pollution and how it affects our environment.
Our service learning project has educated us and many other people in Charleston community about the dangers of plastic pollution.
We encourage encourage you not to use single-use plastic products ever again because approximately 20% of trash that is thrown away ends up in our environment.